Yep, we're live.
Cool. This is oh, it took us a while, but we did it.
Yes, we
Cool.
did.
Well, how did you guys like the book? Sorry, my hair's tangled.
I didn't like it at first, but I slowly got into it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys?
I didn't really expect that that's the comic book,
Mm-hmm.
and I was so confused. Three different stories at the beginning, but at the end, I got it why he put three different stories. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I was confused about that too. Like, I read like the first chapter about the monkey, and then like also the next one was about some kid. Like, it was
Chinese
weird.
kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I liked it. Which story out of the three at the beginning did you like the most?
I don't know. I'm looking through it just to
Um,
refresh.
oh, you guys got the hard copies. Mine's on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Is it like a Kindle edition or what is it?
Yeah, Kindle edition.
That's fun. So was it
Very.
small, like on your screen? Were you like struggling to see?
See, look, I'll show you. See?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
You
cute.
can just like zoom in. So, yeah.
Oh.
But I
Yeah.
liked it. It was kind of nice to be expected to read something and it wasn't like a chapter book, you know? It kept me interested.
I know. I was like, oh, pages, and then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a picture.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm reading that much. And then I was like, oh, there's like no words on every page. So
It's
it was
fine.
cool. Yeah. So there's certain questions we're supposed to discuss.
So the first one is, why did Yang choose to incorporate the story of the Monkey King into his memoir?
Oh. Hmm.
So I guess sorry. So I guess he wanna kind of make it together because that's just a story, the Monkey King story. But like at the end, he can like Monkey King kind of figured out what he has to be, like what was his purpose on like his life, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, um, what was the kid's name? The second one, the Chinese born in
It was
America.
Jin, I think.
Jean, yeah, Jean figured out. I don't know. It's kind of confused, but like later on, Jean and the third kid, Danny,
Mm-hmm.
Danny kind of figured out like kind of they can learn from the Monkey King story. Like Monkey King and then Danny didn't talk about like what he go through, like what the Monkey King go through, but like the readers can understand what he go through and then how like Jean can change or Danny can change. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it kind of make sense? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like they all went through, like all the characters went through similar things. And I guess Danny is Jin, so like that doesn't really count. But like
Mm-hmm.
the Monkey King was, I think he was ashamed of like where he came from, right? Because the god
Mm-hmm.
figure, I don't know what his name is, but like the father,
Yeah.
he
It was like Zoo or something.
yeah, he was like, "Oh, I can do this all on my own. Like, I was from the rock or whatever." And then the god figure was like, "Oh no, I created the rock." Blah, blah. And then Jin was really ashamed of like where he came from, like China, and like even though he was born in America, he really wanted to be white and like have that culture instead of his own. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that came to my mind though, when I was reading the book, I don't know what you guys thought, but when the monkey's like trying to prove to like the god or whatever that he doesn't need him, and he like
Mm-hmm.
goes to like the five pillars and like he pees on it or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. like, and the 5 pillars are his hand. Like, I thought that was so cool. I don't know why. I was just super stoked on that.
That was kind of funny. Yeah.
Mhm.
That was trippy. I know, like, even though it's like Asian, like I don't know what religion this would be like qualified as, or like where these stories come from, but like I think it's interesting that there's still like a God figure, and it's very much like the same theme is like the pride cycle. Like we get really prideful, and then we need God again, and then we get, you know. So that was cool.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's really easy to relate to as well. Like I like reading things when I can relate it to my own life. And speaking for myself, there's definitely been times in my life where I'm like, you know, I don't want to be myself. I feel inadequate. But then like I think that's why we're in this life anyway, is to be able to figure out who we are, because God intends us to be someone, you know? So
yeah.
that was a super important message.
Yeah. I like that.
Cool.
Let's see. Okay. The next question is, how does this folklore adaptation function in Yang's storytelling? So we kind of already talked about that, but
Would anybody like to add anything?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm flipping through the book again just because I want to.
Yeah, I probably want to look through it too.
I feel like this new way of telling it, like through the comics, definitely like, influenced my reaction to it, because it's what he wants us to see. Like I think there was a blonde kid that I thought was Danny that was in Jin's story, so that when it was like a twist or whatever, like I liked how that functioned. I don't know if that's folklore or whatever, but just the style is pretty cool. So
yeah, no, I agree with that. Let's see.
Yeah, just kind of like random thought, but their story, like Danny and his cousin, when I read the part, it was so funny because he literally like wrote a letter like what Asian kind of pronouns, you know, like friend, like something like that. He didn't use the like real words, and he just wrote like R and L changed, or like something like that.
And like,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go. I didn't.
Okay. Also, I was just scrolling through, and at the very end, when so the monkey reveals himself, after like being Danny's cousin, you know, and he tells, is it Jean?
Jean.
Yeah. About how the monkey's son is his best friend, whatever the best friend's name was. Anyway, point is, the best friend goes off the deep end. He's making bad decisions and stuff, and the fact that Jean decided to switch his life around and accept who he is and like it, that affected him to go and make up with his best friend, which probably, I don't know, it doesn't say anything about it, but I would bet if the story was real, then his friend would realize his true identity and like it as well. So, yeah.
I know, I felt so sad at that part that somebody was like super proud of their friends, like Jin, and I think it was
Wei Chen.
Yeah. He was always super proud of his friends, super proud of his culture, like with the transformer, the robot or whatever. And then when he gets betrayed, he's like, I don't want any part of it. I thought that was so sad. I thought it was the realest part of the book.
Yeah, because like when Jean talked to Amelia about like how much he owed to Jean, because he taught English and kind of sharing the different cultures between America and China or Taiwan. And yeah, like he was being his best friend from the first day of his school. But yeah,
Yeah.
kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. What societal attitudes, values, or ideals are conveyed and challenged in this book?
Hmm.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through the book.
Let's see. I noticed it before. What societal norms? I don't know. I think that, like, obviously, Jin and Danny want to be more American than Chinese. And I think that that's maybe, I don't know, I've never lived outside of the country or anything, but I feel like that's how maybe a lot of people feel, or like not even ashamed of their culture, but like, where am I? Because I'm Chinese and I'm also American. Like, where do I find my identity? So I liked that it was kind of like, oh, you can be an individual. You don't have to pick one. You can be
Right. Unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when like Jean, even though Jean born in America, like probably he never been to China, but when he eats lunch at school, he's using chopstick and he's eats dumplings. So his friends was curious like what it's doing, and also like his up like outlook is different. Obviously, like he looks Chinese, and his parents are Chinese. That's why. And like when he first moved in San Francisco or somewhere, yeah, and his friend said, "Oh, my mom says Chinese people eat dogs. Like they always have kind of bias. Like all the Chinese or all the Asian, it's like something weird thing. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
that kind
agree.
of thing. So even though Jean born in America, his family is from China, and in his family, in at like at his home, he's also adapting kind of using Chinese culture at home. That's why he's using chopsticks, not fork or spoon. So, like you guys said, like he doesn't need to choose Chinese culture or American culture. Like he can be unique. He can combine those two things, or like other things too.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sends the message that you don't have to be one thing, or maybe his parents, like a backstory, maybe his parents are pushing him to just focus on being like Chinese and something, but maybe inside him he wants to focus on keeping that, but also finding his own self, which is important as well, because you can be your own person, do whatever you want to do, and be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I like that a lot.
I like the first, like, with the Monkey King. He goes up and everybody laughs at him. And then, like, he's like, I'll show you. I'll learn all this stuff. And I don't need anybody. And, like, tries to change the monkey population by, like, making everybody wear shoes. And, like, everybody's going to be this way now. And I think that's a lot of, like, how we are as people is just like once you're ashamed of something, you kind of want everything to change, but that's their problem, not yours. And I think that,
Yeah.
you know. So
Gotta keep looking at the book.
I know. We're
To remember.
We're supposed to use a few quotes.
This one. So you know when the monkey gets punished and he's under the mountain.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then the not the god, one of the four.
The monk?
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, the monk. The monk.
His servant or monk?
Yeah. So the monk comes to save the monkey, but he says he can't save the monkey. And the monkey's like, "What? Are you stupid? Like, I can't get myself out of this mountain by myself." And what does he say? Let's see. You guys can keep talking while I look, but
Okay.
I really liked it.
Yeah, I like that. And I like that at the end of that story, you kind of don't know where the priest and the monkey go off to, or the monk and the monkey.
Yeah.
And oh, monkey. That's funny. Okay. But so then you're like, oh, I just thought like, oh, that was the end of his character arc. But then he comes back in the end. He's like, he learned all this stuff from the monk. So that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay, it says, I'm just going to read you this whole like little comic section. So
Yeah.
the monk says, "The form you have taken is not truly your own. Return to your true form and you shall be freed." And then the monkey says, "Is there no end to your stupidity? That steel above me prevents me from exercising kung fu." And the monk says, "Returning to your true form is not an exercise of kung fu, but a release of it." So... basically, the monkey. Wait, sorry. Oh, mic drop. Yes, mic drop. But anyway, the monkey has his own point of view because he's completely decided to be someone else, so he's lost sight of like what really matters. But the monk is like, it's so simple. Like, how can you not see that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's sometimes like outside perspective looking in, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
he says at the very end, it's like one of the very last lines. He says, "You know, Jin, I would have saved myself from 500 years of imprisonment beneath a mountain of rock had I only realized how good it is to be a monkey."
Yeah.
Cute.
I like that one.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Maybe next question? I don't know. How are you guys feeling?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Does it say how much time we've been doing this for? I haven't even been taking track.
I started the timer a little bit late, but 15 minutes. Like 15 to 7.
Okay.
Halfway.
Sounds good.
Okay. How does the book... I'll finish in a minute. How does the book challenge conventional literary forms and genres?
Well, first off, like we said before, it has 3 different stories combined and they meet at the end, which I didn't expect.
They connected each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like also the comic format, that's something that I didn't expect at all. And I think it's good for this kind of message of like individuality or like how people look, like even the teachers or like the kids at school. It's nice to be able to visualize like not just like another white kid or another Asian kid. It's like this is what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Also, sorry, I'm talking a lot, but I feel like
good.
Topic like this, it's so serious and people take it really seriously these days, especially like the obsession with identity and racism and how can we fix it and bullying and all that stuff. It's nice to find the humor in it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, I kind of like how it has really important messages.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it keeps it light and like something a kid would read, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just read this comic book like just as a comic book, but at the same time you can analyze, you can kind of find the real meaning what the author wrote it in his life, I guess,
Hmm.
because this is his real story, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is biography.
Mm.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. I'm paying attention, I promise.
Mm.
No, I like what you said. Like, this is kind of a interesting genre because it is his biography, but he's clearly like mixing other stories into it. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
he really turned into another person,
Mm-hmm.
but
Uh-huh.
I think it's really cool how he did that.
Yeah, I think Danny is the person, maybe the author Jean wanted to be, because Outlook is totally American and also kind of part of the Chinese culture because his
Mhm.
cousin is from China. So,
Yeah.
well, I don't know, but at the end, he probably realized that he doesn't need to be American, even though he lives in America. He can be just himself.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think that maybe how Danny thinks, and like maybe how that like symbolizes kind of how like Americans think of the Chinese culture or have in the past. Like, I don't want you here. Like, why are you here invading my space? Whatever. So when he starts to attack his cousin, and yeah, just like get out of here. But he's not going anywhere. Like, it'll always be with him, kind of thing. And
Yeah, he said, "I'm not going anywhere. My trip is not done." He told
Mhm.
the Chinese cousin.
The guy's best friend. What was his name again?
Wei
Wei
Chen.
Chen.
Yes. So before I found out that he was a monkey, who was trying to like prove himself through becoming mortal and uh so, something like that. I always like when I was reading those chapters, I was like, oh my gosh, he's like the greatest friend ever. Like he's so kind, and then at the end you realize like, oh, that's why. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. Like everything clicked. There was always questions in my head while I was reading. I was like, well, why did that happen? But by the end, he had answered all my questions. So I thought that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a quote, like maybe from the Monkey King, but I can't remember. Oh, this is good. So the Monkey King says to Danny, he says, "Now that I've revealed my true form, perhaps it's time to reveal yours." And he turns him back into Jin. And I think that, like, I don't know, that just goes with the theme of identity, saying like you need to stop acting this way and be who you really are, and who the Holy One or the Holy Presence wants you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the Journey to the West.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. It's a cool book. I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
So maybe next one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What is the Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go.
Literature value of this book within its intended audience. What about beyond that audience? Literature value.
I feel like
Literally, yeah. Sorry.
it's like this is obviously meant for a younger reader. Like, I wouldn't say this is the most academic reading I've ever done, but I think that that's good for younger people to stuff like this because I think that's probably what they're struggling with. So,
Yeah, I could picture this being a book that maybe like my dad or my mom would have read to me when I was younger.
Mhm.
You know, a book that I could understand, but also they have a lot to comment on.
Mm-hmm.
But even now, like, I'm 20 years old and I really liked it. So.
Yeah. What do you think? Or,
Wait, did you ask a question?
yeah, I just thought, what did you guys think? Or
Just
is it, do you say it Emily or Amelie?
Amelie.
Amelie. Okay.
Oh,
What did you think about it?
Yeah, so I also agree, both of you, that I think it's for the younger people when they try to find their identity, identity,
Mm-hmm.
so they can kind of figure it out. Like they don't need to be someone; they can just be them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So like teenagers and 20s, and yeah.
Yeah, but I think everyone needs that reminder too. Like, I don't care how old you are, because you know, you even hear about people with like those midlife crisis that like they trying to be someone they're not too. Like, just be yourself. That's super important.
Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
who you're supposed to be. Like you know who you're supposed to be. Like
Yeah.
Like go back to your roots if you need like a reminder. I think that was what hit me the most is like every time somebody says it like in a talk, in a book, like whatever, like be who like either God wants you to be or you know who you're supposed to be. It's
Right.
like I need to know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other questions we have to cover?
Let's see. Okay.
I think that's all. The last one.
In what ways does Yang make the ancient legend of the Monkey King relevant for contemporary readers? And we have about like 5 minutes left, so I don't know
Okay.
like exactly 30 minutes, but
Okay. So how did he make the Monkey King relevant to contemporary readers?
Yeah.
What is? I don't understand what she means by contemporary.
I think like because Monkey King's really old,
Right.
We're reading it. We're like, oh yeah, it's like interesting.
Uh-huh.
Like, let's see. I'm gonna flip through. Let's see. Well, I think he makes the character relatable of the Monkey King, even though maybe like as a legend, I think maybe at first if I heard it, I'd be like, well, I'm nothing like him. Like he's super arrogant. He doesn't know who he is. He gets trapped under a mountain for whatever. But then bring it back to like Jin and his situation. I think like that's what makes it relatable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Jin's situation is not really unique. Like everyone can be like Jin.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and throughout the book, every single character, like, you see how much like easier it would be if you just like stuck with who you are. Because if Jin would have realized the whole time just to be himself, like he wouldn't have had a problem with trying to get that girl or kissing his best friend's girl or any of that stuff. Or same with the monkey. He wouldn't have gotten stuck under the mountain. He wouldn't have felt bad about not being able to get into the party if he just would have, just realized who he was.
Like, I'm a monkey, I don't wear shoes. Or like, I'm a monkey, I don't walk like that or whatever it was. But
yeah, and in the end, like, you can totally see they're just like, oh, like, I'm so happy to be a monkey. Like, this is awesome,
Yeah.
It's so cute.
I know, it's a cute book. I like it.
I know.
And also, I think why Jin, the author, chose the Monkey King story because monkey is very similar look with human being. And then monkey Because like if author Jean Yang like chose a like elephant or lion, it's kind of hard to match with the human being. So I think the reason why he chose the Monkey King story was that like one of the reason was probably that one too. Like, it's very similar. And monkey, we can kind of easily think that monkey want to be a human, and some people like agree that monkey changed to human being. So
Yeah.
like in the book, monkey wearing the shoes, because other people, because kind of what is it, teasing him because he is a monkey. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I like this kind of book. I think we should read more of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Words, more pictures, people.
Yeah.
More pictures keeps you interested,
Yeah.
and we could talk about it for 30 minutes. Easy.
Easy. And it was really easy read. Like I read it in an hour, hour and a half, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. It's pretty easy to read too.
Mm-hmm.
5 out of 5. All right. Well, I think we're done. Like I hit 28 minutes and I didn't start it exactly on time. So
Okay.
we're good.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'll send her the link. I don't know if you guys can I don't know if you have it, but I'll just send her that and then say it.
And then I'll do the paper.
Okay. Cool.
Okay,
Nice.
bye guys.
Bye.